Hello, this is Virtualis the Chess Noob, learning and having fun with chess. Today I sprung the Vienna Gambit trap again, winning in 8 moves and with a family fork. It was only last week that I made a video talking about this trap in the Vienna Gambit, and I managed to make it strike again, winning having only used 22 seconds out of a 30-minute game. Please enjoy! Very quick look at the review, and look at that, 100% accuracy. I'm very, very proud. Now let's have a look now at the analysis. So we've seen this recently, haven't we? e4, e5, knight c3, beginning of the Vienna game, knight f6, and then f4, the Vienna Gambit. So as we know, you shouldn't take, but if the opponent takes, then e5, striking at the knight. And to sort of to go through again sort of what are the most intuitive moves. So obviously, if you've played for a little while, you know you can't move the knight into these squares. The knight is under threat from a pawn. So you could either retreat the knight, which is in fact the best move, or I think particularly for players once they get to the sort of more into the intermediate level, they don't want to retreat the knight, and so the temptation to play queen e7, pinning the pawn to the king, is very, very strong. So that's a very natural move, and that's what they did. Here we respond in kind with queen, and I basically actually predicted my opponent's every move. They're now going to move the knight back because there's no other options. Here we play knight f3, preventing queen h4 with check. And here they're looking at the board. That pawn's out in the middle of nowhere, and need to do something about that pawn. And so the obvious sort of sense is that they need to do something about that pawn. And so d6 seems very natural. And with d6, which is of course a blunder, we now have knight d5. Forking the queen and the pawn on c7, and almost always here the opponent moves their queen to a place that doesn't make sense. Well, that doesn't work. There's a very strong sense they have to move the queen, but there's actually nowhere good to go because obviously can't go here, can't go here, can't go here. So all those squares are defended by my pieces. And so most commonly the opponent will either go back to d8, or potentially they may play d7. Neither of those squares work because I can still capture. Now in this case, the opponent actually moved queen to e6, which now allows for knight captures pawn on c7. Comes with a family fork. And the opponent here opted to resign because it really is over. And here I've spent sort of 22 seconds. I spent about 2.5 minutes, but the game is over. But every one of those moves are almost entirely predictable. And I think I mentioned last time that in fact, in this position, the best move for the opponent is to accept that the queen is lost, and in fact, just to develop their pieces, and then they get to capture back my knight without damaging their structure any further. So, very happy to have sprung the trap again, and this time with the family fork. Good game, GG. I've previously described how each move made by the opponent with the black pieces is probably the most intuitive move, which is what makes this trap so devastating. And the great thing is that at no point do you end up in a bad position playing the white pieces. The best response for black is to play d5 in the Vienna Gambit, entering the Vienna Game Main Line. This is slightly better for black, but entirely playable for white. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.